What's going on, everybody? Today we're taking a look at a plugin from one of my all-time favorite producers and influences, Andrew Scheps. So Andrew Scheps is a huge engineer. He has worked on Metallica, Adele, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he's won Grammys for, I think, two of them. I think Adele and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But he has worked on one of my favorite albums of all time, which is the Red Hot Chili Peppers Stadium Arcadium. And just listening to him talk about how he mixes things and his approach to mixing, it's influenced me a lot as an engineer. And when I started learning more about the plugins that he worked with Waves to create, I was like, I gotta try these. I gotta do something. It was a chance to really start working like my role model. But that just leads into the plugin that we are looking at, which is the Scheps 73. This is created to emulate the, I believe, Neves 1073, which is on the console that Andrew Scheps has in his own studio. It is a timeless preamp that has been used on hundreds of artists, including some of the biggest names out there. You can look them up. It's crazy how many people have gone through 1073 preamps, but it's been part of the integral sound that has become so popular in music today. But like I said, we're going to look at the Scheps 73. I'm excited. So the Scheps 73 right here, it's a channel strip preamp. It's fairly simple, easy, and straightforward. Up here in the top right, you do have a size changing, so we're just going to leave it bigger just so it's easier for everyone to see what we are looking at here. In it, you have simply the preamp up here, which can be put on and off. That is something else that's really nice. Everything in this can be turned on or off. Like, you don't have to have the high EQ. You don't have to have the mid, the low, the high pass, anything. You can choose what you have on and off in the preamp itself. Right next to the preamp, you do have the drive. That is really where you get like a saturated, distorted sound. The basic preamp, it's nothing crazy. It will affect a little bit of the tonal qualities, but I haven't noticed much difference using the basic preamp itself. After that, it goes into the highs, which just focuses as a shelf, basically, starting at 12 kilohertz. That up is controlled by the fluctuations of that. And then down here you have the mids, which are, I believe, 3 to 2 kilohertz, and then the low, which is 220 kilohertz. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be 220 to the 3 kilohertz or what, but I believe it's basically just set bands that you work within. And then down here below, you have a high pass filter where you can choose between 300, 160, 80, and 50 hertz. And again, turn it on and off. When it's highlighted, it is on. When it's not highlighted, it is off. Then over here on the right, you have an in and out. So that basically allows you to check the metering. So you can have the metering follow the input signal or the output signal. So the input signal is everything that's coming into the preamp before you do anything with the entire channel strip. And then the output is what is going out, which is affected by this knob right there, and it is affected by everything in the signal chain. You also have a total EQ in and out, as well as a phase switch right there. Now, another cool piece of it is you have a link in and out, so you can adjust these and they will keep their ratio with each other of the in and out signal overall. Now, something that I really like about this is that when you're using it in mono, it has like the basic features, everything you need, but there are even more features that come out when you're using it on a stereo channel. So you see here, you have obviously two of everything. You have the phase for each side, high pass filter, all that sort of thing. It does have, so you can only put in and out for both sides, but that's not that big a deal to me. Really, my favorite piece of this all is the monitoring option and the mode option. So with the monitoring, you can choose how you're listening to this. You can choose to be listening to the sides, which is basically just the spread part of the panning. Stereo, which is how you would basically listen to it anytime that you're wanting to listen to the two tracks. That's the basic version. Mono, it sums them together and puts it out as a mono signal. So any phasing issues that come together of the two sides going together would come out when listening to mono. And then mid, you are listening to just the center signal without the spread sides. And then with the mode, you can choose whether this is set up as just a basic stereo channel where each side is reflected as the same, duo, just two separate channels working independently, or mid side. And mid side basically works that you have control over the mid signal of the entire signal flow, or you have control over the sides. And it does that with the left channel being the mid, the right side being the sides. So with the stereo signal, if you move them, they move in regards to each other. Duo, you can move them independently without one affecting the other sound. And then mid-side, you adjust them independently. You can also see which one is designated as which by the M and the S. This is the mid section of the channel strip, and this is the side section of the channel strip. In stereo and duo, you just see left and right channels. Something else that is cool, when it's in stereo and you link them, you move them all whenever you move one of them. In the duo and mid-side option, you move the right one, you only move the right out when they're linked. Same thing with the left. And that's also the same in the mid-side option. Those are just really cool pieces to me because I love the ability to work on the spread of things, because that's how you get a nice open mix. That's how you can work on creating air within your mix so it doesn't feel cluttered in the center of everything. Now, it does have a really simple EQ, but I like that a lot because there's been these methods I've seen when it comes to mixing where it talks about having two EQs. You do one before a compressor and then one after a compressor. And the reason for it is that the one before the compressor, you want to have a very detailed, like surgical type of EQ. You get out frequencies that just don't sound good, or you just get like the overall sound flat. You want it to sound good. You want it to sound clean without any frequencies like really piercing in any way. And then after the compressor, this makes sense to use to give it tonal qualities, to give it like just a nice sound with the EQ. Andrew Scheps has said that he thinks that it sounds almost identical with using an actual 1073, whether you're talking about just the basic EQ, the high pass filters, the monitoring, and even the drive up here at the top. This does come with a lot of presets that you can choose from. You get a lot more when you're working in the stereo option, of course. It does mark if something is set up for a stereo channel versus a mono channel, because like the settings are different, so it will affect how it sounds, especially with the mid-side options. So you see that here with the mix, widen, and focus stereo, the overhead stereo. If it doesn't say stereo, it's basically a mono setup, but if it does say stereo, it's a stereo setup. But just for this video, we're only going to take a look at it for on vocals as well as guitars. Maybe in the future I can make some short videos that I'll throw up on Instagram showing you what it sounds like for bass, what it sounds like for drums, things like that. So first we're going to take a look at the vocal from this track. This is from one of the covers that I did on my channel quite a while ago, the Hold On I'm Coming cover with my friend Matt Schuler. So first off, we're just going to take the Scheps 73 off completely. Granted, I didn't use the Scheps 73 on this cover, but now listening to it, I really wish I had. So again, this is in bypass. You're going to listen to this little section right here.
Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming.
And now we'll take it out of bypass just to see what I did, because I think it sounds a lot better doing it like this. But there could be better options out there. I'm just showing off what I really liked.
Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on.
To me, it adds a lot of life and energy that's really in there with it. So I'm going to unsolo it, and you can hear it in the full mix. I'm going to again do it with the bypass and then on.
Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on. Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Just hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming.
I could listen to that forever. His voice sounds beautiful with the Scheps 73 on it. Now we're going to take a look at the guitar. So I did record the guitar in stereo. We're going to take a look at it in the original format here, and then we'll take a look at it in the stereo channel. So again, this is before I set it up with the Scheps Omni channel. So this was really only running an EQ and compressor, and then there was a compressor on the bus out. But this is only the guitar solo section, so it's not really going to show off the rhythmic guitar side of things, but you should hear a really good representation of it. And now we will listen to it with the 73. So it doesn't sound better on its own, but I think it sounds better in the mix, and it could just be wrong. That could just be a personal opinion. But again, we will take a look at it with the guitar solo in the mix with and without the 73. So this is going to be without. And now we will listen to it with the 73 on. So with this one, I tried to show off a little bit of the mid side of things. I really wanted to like pull the guitar solo out of the center and like really have the highs on the outside. That might have been a mistake, but it gives you an example of what the 73 can do. I wanted to have more of just the like warm body in the center, but really the bright piercing side of the guitar solo on the outsides of things. But that is the Scheps 73. And again, this is a plugin from one of my absolute favorite engineers and producers of all time, Andrew Scheps. I can't say enough how much I look up to him as far as mixing and being an engineer goes. And I really enjoy this plugin that he worked with Waves to make. I know they came out with it years ago, but I am really getting into it now. And I gotta say, I love the sound of it. And I think I'm going to start using it on a lot more songs and mixes that I have over time. I've never really messed around with channel strips in the past, but I'm really starting to warm up to the idea because I'm realizing how much depth and warmth I can get from the sound of a preamp, especially of a classic preamp as the Neve 1073. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you found this video helpful when it comes to whether or not you want to get the Scheps 73 or even just helping you figure out how to use the Scheps 73 more. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment. That helps me out a lot with the algorithm and is really encouraging. And subscribe if you like this. I try to put out as many of these every Tuesday as I can. Sometimes I do fall off just because I get really busy with my own daily life and working. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next Tuesday.